Boy, I am glad that we just got off of listening to Maury Calliope's newest single, Friends and Family, Rivals and Enemies, Enemies and Eggs, Rivers of Rivals. I totally forgot what it was. I'm so sorry. I'm glad, though, that we checked out that song with its intensity, with its kind of nu metal aesthetic to it, because apparently that's what we got going on with Breakout by Hololive English Advent. I'm excited. I heard through the grapevine, because Twitter always ruins everything, that Kosuke Bichu was the one doing most of the yelling here. Excuse me? The one who came up with Ready Player 1 and Player 2. It's me and you. Rock in. I mean, come on. Let's just see what's going on here. Dang, okay. We are in a nu metal territory here. Okay, that wasn't the longest scream, but being able to fry your voice like that, you don't just figure out how to do that. You don't just pull that out of your butt. Okay. I love the guitar tone here. Okay, another blast beat. Nice harmonizing. Okay, I'll eviscerate your darkened halls. Here's all these things that are going to be happening, all the things you're going to be experiencing. I can help you through that, if I'm understanding this correctly. I think that's a really beautiful sentiment. I think there's a lot of ways that we as people, especially in the U.S., really believe that a measure of strength is to get through everything on your own. That's fucking bullshit. Okay? I'm just saying that because it's not true. And there are many people who left too young too quickly because they didn't believe that they should reach out and get help. I had somebody not make it through COVID. He was alone. He was isolated. He didn't reach out for help. That bothers me. And I know, obviously, we don't all get in the same situations, of course, or at least I would hope, but in the same day-to-day ways, especially for men, especially, in those contexts, there's a lot of ways where we feel like the measure of strength is to get through everything on your own, when it's not. Reach out. And if you don't have anyone to reach out to, I tell it to people a lot of times, reach out on my Discord, message me. I will never judge. Okay? Let's dial it back. Oh. Okay, so she had a little bit of spice to that. Till only your ashes and the remains. Like, that's good. That's good. Adding a little bit of, grit to that. Also, so we're talking about ripping down something that is oppressive to someone else. I'm going to rip down your ashen halls. Still, the sentiment remains, even though I misinterpreted those lyrics. Apologies on that. We still needed people around us. And also, they're knowing their worth in saying, hey, I'm going to rip this down. I'm not going to stand for this kind of thing. There's a lot of ways that we also think that a measure of strength is to never stand up for yourself, to just kind of take it on the chin and just move on. I don't agree with that. Anyway. Okay. Again, not as long of a rap. First of all, I love the transitional stuff here with the, you get this tunnel going and then it just has so much glitchy overlay. It's a really cool visual. I know with the proper editing software, it can be very easy to do, but it's just cool. I just like that. I do want to listen for the doubling on Biju's voice here real quick. It sounded like she had a high version of that and a low version complementing each other. That's really a safe bet with a lot of vocal stuff. I know technically speaking, I could just turn up the gain on this microphone and get up really close and do a basic fry scream. And then we can really extend it and make it sound good. I don't know. I just feel like that's less than what you could do if you actually learned how to develop the vocal cords for it. I would just like to think that Kosuke Biju knows how to really just let it out and just scream. But I'm sure they've already talked about it. Please let me know in the comments if you know any info on this. So, okay, there's more than two voices there. Because it sounds like there's a clean voice that's just really high up saying, "Let me out." But it doesn't, with the mixing, it really is like nestling into the aggression of the lower vocals and the fries and stuff. That's really cool. Okay, so first of all, see the binding wearing thin. I'm a horrible person. That just made me think of binding like with clothing. And Narissa's had so many jokes and animations and stuff like that related to things just bursting because of how she is. So, but I'm interested in this whole resurgence that we've been having in some capacity to nu metal aesthetics, right? You get double bass a little bit in the bass drum. You get these drop register guitars. But it's generally clean singing with a little bit of screaming in there. Now, I know I just put out a song called I Wish I Could that is exactly that. I'm just saying it's different than what I've come to expect with a lot of metal and a lot of, kind of music like that. I don't know if you would call it nu metal or if it's like, a little bit different. But yeah, I guess my thought is since... And I also put my own song on blast as well because most of my stuff is just experimentation as it is. I don't exactly know how I feel for ladies like this to have just one or two moments of explosive fry screaming on an otherwise cleanly sung song. Now, I'm not expecting all of them to start screaming and stuff. I don't think that's necessary. I just feel like it's so different than what I'm used to. It kind of feels out of place. It feels like you're trying to step into a world that maybe you're not as capable of being in than when they've done their really, really good songs over like bassy, kind of pop stuff. Now, that's not a criticism to it. And, if I were to do a criticism, that would also be criticizing my own songs that have delved into that genre. I'm just acknowledging the fact that when you come from one style where you're doing so well and your voice sounds so good with it, to try and just kind of put a toe into a particular style that only uses a little bit of intense vocal stuff, it just strikes me as a little different, is where I'm coming from. So, because regardless, Biju doing the screaming on this sounds amazing. Like, that's just a fact of the matter. So it's not any criticism of their vocalizations or anything or any of their talent. It's just wondering whether or not they really fit in this particular style. I don't know. That's for the critics to decide, I suppose. Nice. I have a theory I want to propose. Since we've heard these ladies have a bit more gruff vocals, at least with Fuamoko, they had that. Shiori had a little bit of that, and of course, Biju has done that. I would think one great way you could interlace the two, right, is have the vocals just add a little bit more stank to it. You know, it doesn't have to be all cleanly sung or screaming. I feel like maybe if you interlace the two just a little bit more, you can have very clean vocals in the back. That can be the background. Instead of just see the world reborn in a sea, see the world reborn in a sea. Like just add just a little bit of stank to it. I feel like that would just add to it. And I also know that this does mean that the single that I put out, I Wish I Could, is just way too sterile then. I will argue that that could very well be true. Okay? I was experimenting. I am willing to admit that it just wasn't a good fit. Okay? Before anyone starts thinking. Ooh, what is that? Yo, what you being so sassy for? Like, dude, what? Turn it down. Turn down the sass.
Take back your maze of lies. I've seen the other side. The point of no return. This fire's gotta burn.
Okay. Okay, so they did some doubling there. And then underneath that, as that first vocal was fading, the other one came on top of that. Or not came on top of it. It was on the, it was underneath that. You know, and that kind of just, you know, so you had a bit longer of a time where there was yelling. Okay, that's interesting. I guess I still feel like it's too little. It's too little stank. I don't know. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments. I'm not gonna waste any more time. We're just gonna keep going here.
Rise up and break out.
Okay. That's actually, you know what? That's the stank I was talking about. If you could have delivered all your vocals like that, I know that would be probably way too much. And, you know, I wouldn't want you to thrash your voice for it. But that, if you did that instead and then had the clean vocals overlapping that, I think that would add just a little bit more to it, right? That's just my thought. I don't know.
With a cry of wrath, I will crush these chains until only your wreckage and ash remains. A rebellious spark, like some blazing flame. Let it rage like a man cage, screaming out into the shadows that will break away.
Dude, frickin' corn sounding beat is just so good. This is good. Okay, nice. That was good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the lyrics, impeccable. I think it's great. I think it fits. As I've said before, in group songs, I want to hear everybody. And they all delivered. They absolutely all delivered. They all still added very clean, very good vocals over this, right? No question of that. And Bibu did a very good job with the screaming right there. Yeah, it's just, you know, I already shared my thoughts on that, but you guys tell me yours in the comments. Please go support these guys. Please go support them. Check out their other music. That's all I got to say about that. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.